All right. Excuse me. Welcome back to the channel here. As you can see, guys, we are most certainly back in DCS, kind of per request of a homie that has been wanting to learn the A10C. So I'm kind of doing this for you, Shadow Dark. I was going to do an X-Plane stream tonight, but it was just a little bit too late. So I said, you know what, let me jump in this DCS thing and do this. We'll be in X-Plane tomorrow early, doing something awesome. So anyway, guys, we're going to go through the A10, just the basic systems. We'll basically do it as a tutorial flight. So as usually as I do things in the aircraft, I will explain it. I will take extra detail, pay extra attention to a specific explanation of just getting the aircraft started, rolling, and all that good stuff, and looking at some controls. Matter of fact, we're going to look at some controls now so that when I get right into the instructional part of the flight, we don't have to go back and forth. So you guys will be able to go back and kind of pause the video as you see fit. So we'll just jump in here really quick. Let's hit the escape menu and go straight into the adjust controls. Jerry Porterfield's in the house. What up with you, my G? Okay, guys, you can see here we're in the A10C2. One of the important things to go to right off the bat, obviously, and I'm not going to explain your access commands. That's for your control. Your access commands pretty much are your throttles, your rudders, toe brakes, your pitch and roll, and any slewable axes. Here, we'll go check mine out here really quick. As you can see here, this is basically just all the access commands. So I'll move my rudder pedal. You can see the rudder pedal here is moving. Toe brakes, so that's my rudder pedal. As far as, and you can see the type of, I got the X56 Rhino with the of course the Thrustmaster rudder pedals, and I also have a gamepad that I don't use, so this is not even on, so that's not even an issue. But as you can see here, as I move my HOTAS around, my joystick around, that it's moving back and forth. So that's what you guys are going to fix there. That's basic stuff. We're not going to go over that. However, we are going to go over the HOTAS system. Now, the HOTAS system, the biggest thing I can say is, depending on what your remote is or your controller, that'll depend on how much of these things that you can put on the actual HOTAS. As you can see here, and I'm just leaving it here so you guys can take a picture. Let's see. Okay, so this is my joystick, and this is the throttle portion of the HOTAS, just to let you know. So if you guys want to take a picture, these are some of my HOTAS controls, and again, the pictures aren't what's the most important thing as far as my buttons, but which ones that you need to actually do. So of course you're going to want the coolie hat, down, left, right, up. You're also going to want the CMS, which is your countermeasures, all four positions. You're also going to want some buttons for China hat forward, aft, as well as HOTAS boat switch forward and HOTAS boat switch aft. You're also going to do the CUN trigger. You're also going to do the TMS, which is for your targeting. When you're using your targeting pod, you're going to do your TMS. Aft, forward, left, right. Of course, your trim hat, and let's not forget the DMS here. And the DMS is for your digital management system. So that's like selecting different things on your different profiles that you have. So if you're in the left MFD or the right MFD, and you've got, you know, your targeting pod pulled up, the DMS is going to do certain things with that. If you're in the HUD, using the upfront controller and the HUD, the DM, and you have that selected as your center of interest, then the DMS is going to do certain things with that as well. So I think these are the major things. And also, don't forget, you know, like I said, this coolie hat is a big one here, so you guys are definitely going to want to get the coolie hat switches going, because that's how you choose your screens and you know, just toggle through your upfront controller, your HMD, which is your helmet manual display, as well as your left and right screens that you have there. So there you guys go. And then I've got, you know, weapon release here, of course, which is on your HOTAS, as well as your trim hat. So that's the main thing that you guys kind of need to worry about. So without getting too long-winded, that's what's going on. So let's go ahead and get the music off now, guys, because it's time to get down to business. This is a mission in the South Atlantic that I did before, that I'm just running it. I didn't want to be on a server and have the server restarting and all that good stuff. So we are fully in the mission now. So let's jump into the aircraft. First of all, let's take a closer look at it in all her might and glory. I've already got her loaded up, so we're not going to go over the load. Actually, we are going to go over the load because I'm going to show you some different stuff that you may want. I don't necessarily need it in this map, but let's just go over it right now.
Departing flight group. This is flight control. You are clear for startup and immediate departure. Please contact Overwatch upon departure and check in with JTAG on station when appropriate. Have a safe flight.
Alright, as you can see there, we have been cleared, but before we do that, I'm just going to explain where certain things go on this aircraft. Now, we'll make a couple of changes here. Let's see. Well, actually, the only changes that we'll make is probably these rockets here. Because I'm going to let's take these rocket off, and we'll put something on the end, which is the ECM pod. Now, the ECM pod is 100% absolutely something for radar jamming that you're going to want to put on there. So normally it goes on the tip of your wing here. So in this case, we're going to put it on Station 1. Station 11, to counter that, let's put two AIM-9 medium sidewinders. And you also have to pay attention to your weight. Look at the max takeoff weight is 46,476 pounds, and we're at 46,363. So we're pretty close, and that's only with 80% fuel. So this theater is not that big. Then, of course, on Station 10, which I always recommend, that's where you're going to put your lightning pod at. So you would just, you know, right-click, boom, get your lightning pod, and bada bing, bada boom. On this station here, Stations 9 and 3, we've got 3 AGM-65 Hotel Mavericks, as well as on Stations 8 and 4, we have 3 GBU-12s on either station, giving us a total of 6. And in the middle, I believe we got a cluster bomb. Yeah, we've got a cluster bomb 97, which is more for not just personnel, but for actual armor and destroying larger, tougher to penetrate enemy threat type stuff. So that's where it's there. Again, we're at 80% fuel. Our shaft and flare are at 240, and that is that. So we'll request rearming. Cyrus Aviation says, hello, man. What's up with you, Cyrus Aviation, man? Thanks for checking in. Now, while we are rearming, I'm also going to show you guys how to 100% put in some grid coordinates, and we're going to be using military grid scores.
Hello, captains, commanders, co-pilots, and pilots and flight crew.
Let's get
on. This is General
Alvarez,
and I welcome you to today's mission in theater. If I haven't met you, some of you in person, I would like to take this time to tell you welcome, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. Our mission today is very simple. We must ensure that the East and West Falklands are very secure at all times. We have received reports from additional Allied forces that small foreign anti-hate groups have been forming on the shores by way of rebel forces. We must take this opportunity to clear them all out, or else they will gain forces here and they will become more of a nuisance. Today, as I oversee all of the Allied forces, we will go ahead and utilize all of our air assets in order to recon, identify, and neutralize any threats that may be here. Please do not forget to pay close attention to your flight plans, pay close attention to your flight operations, and please report all activity over to the Overwatch, please. If you have any questions, please use your chain of command, and just remember that we are here to protect the land and treat them rough when we have to. This is General Alvarez, over and out. Happy cooking.
Alright, so he's done doing his spill. Before we even start the aircraft up, let's go and find some grid coordinates that are user friendly to us. And you can see here on the map, intentionally I have left the target areas so that we can confirm some things that we need to do here. Now we do, I believe, have this target area here, and let's look at the flight path here and see what exactly we have. Okay, let's pick on us, and okay, it's not showing our flight path, which is okay. I didn't put that in there, but however, I believe this target area is stored in as target area number 1. I'm not sure if we have this as any target area, but just in case we are, well, let's measure how far this is first. That way we're not doing too long of a flight here. So yeah, not bad. It's only like 14 miles. So everything here is super close. 15 miles here, so it's not bad at all. So there's nothing that's going to take us too far to get there at all. So anyway, what we want to do, guys, is we want to get a grid coordinate. All right, we want to get a grid coordinate so that these are some dishkas here that we have on a bridge. We want to get this grid coordinate so that we can put our weapons right on these targets. Okay. So, and we're going to show you how to do that right now in the A10 so that you guys have an idea of how to do it. So first of all, look at your top left, this map up here. What we're going to do now is do Alt and Yankee, or Alt and Y, until we get, let's see, to what looks like this, okay? These are coordinates that are in the grid square format, okay? Military grid squares, or MGRS. So the first thing, we're just going to hover right over these vehicles, okay? And we're going to write these grid coordinates down, guys, so that when we get in the A10, we can program them, and then we can go there based off of what grid coordinates we put in there. So we're going to write 21
Springfield 1-1. This is
Victor
Overwatch.
Charlie.
We have intel reports of enemy forces in and around the area of Evelyn Station Farm.
8.
We need you and any elements
6
from Carlos to Ford operating base to head in that direction and provide reconnaissance.
86
I repeat, only
276
reconnaissance.
and 32
Once
feet
any
is
enemy
elevation.
activity is detected,
Okay.
please notify
We're also,
Overwatch
we'll skip
immediately.
this little target
How
here because we
copy?
should be able to
Springfield, 1-1.
move our situation over here and find that. Let's also look at this front discus, just because it's, you know, different grid coordinate here. Same thing. It's 21 Foxtrot Victor Charlie 01040 and 86343, and it is 57 feet. Okay, those will be the two coordinates that we put in there when we decide to. Again, this is the South Atlantic map. Again, this is a mission that I think I flew with money before, so there we go. All right. So now all is quiet. We're back in the aircraft. Everything is loaded up. We got our grid coordinates. We are ready to get this bird done. So first and foremost, we want to come down here to the right console, upper console here, and you're going to do a left or right click, doesn't matter, it's just a two-way switch to turn the battery on. And you can see all of your annunciator lights come on, and you can hear the battery spooling up and the battery fan, and you can see here now that you have something indicating that the canopy most certainly is still unlocked. Then what you want to do after that, we need to get that inverter on. So this one you want to do a right click. Okay, so that inverter is on now, and you can hear it powering up. And now, of course, we want to turn the APU on, and you want to verify that the APU is not on already. And it's not. So now you're going to come over to the left panel here, left console, as it were. Almost, you know, if you got track IR, you're going to have to slide your head over so that you can see past the ejection seat arming mechanism here. And then you're going to do one right click. And as soon as you do the right click, you'll hear the APU start spooling up, and you're also going to see the APU exhaust gas temperature rising here, which is spiked. And then we're waiting for this to get to 100 there. That'll indicate that the APU is ready for the APU generator to be connected. Alright, then there's another little balancing out of the APU exhaust gas temperature reading there. And now one right click, and you can see that the APU is now connected. And from there, guys, a lot of stuff is going to happen. So it's going to be quite loud out there with that APU. So again, here we're going to do a left click and close the canopy. And guys, you can see that KC-135 MPRS is departing. That's one of the tankers that this one can't refuel from there, but the F-18 can refuel from that one. So they're up and at 'em, and if we do happen to get in the F-18 today, because I still need some tanker practice myself, then we'll do that. Okay, now that the canopy is closed,
Coalition forces, coalition
everything else is off, so let's go ahead and we want to get this. This is our CDU, or Control Display Unit.
Update.
You can see it says it right here, CDU, and IGI is the type of navigation you're going to use, so you're going to do a right click on both, bring those on, you're going to come to the screens here, and you are going to left click on both to the day position.
Port Harriet.
And with those being clicked to the day position, you're going to right click on
enemy
kick you,
forces have been confirmed,
the JTRS, and one click the IFFCC into the test mode. That will 100% ask you to start engaging with this. We want to engage the pre-flight bit. The answer is 100% yes. I'm going to enter here,
cleared weapons hot.
We're going to let that continue to happen
and
there.
report to JTAC and Overwatch stations.
That's going to run its course. So now with the APU running, we want to work on our yaw stabilators and pitch SAS. So we're going to go ahead and right click all of these to the up position, as well as now left clicking the signal lamps test. You're going to hear the buzzer going off as well. So we're just making sure that if something happens on the bird, that we get an indication of
pull up
everything that's happening. So then you let it release, and everything goes back to normal. Left console, and what you hear, that's the pre-flight bit test still going on, and after it says that, it's pretty much done. So we'll look up there after. Now here's your 3 radios. You have one radio.
Black Hot Flight Group.
Here.
This is Overwatch Control.
A radio, your
Please
main radio
be advised
here,
that you are ordered to drop troop assets in and around area of Evelyn Station
radio,
Farm.
see it come on.
Their orders are to proceed with caution to the farm and to neutralize any enemy assets. Once assets are dropped, continue flight to FARP Alpha. Overwatch Control. Over and out.
Okay, transmit, receive, radio here, and okay, with the update, they must have updated this top radio, so this is something new. So over here it's off. You're going to do transmit and receive on this radio. So this, guys, wow, this is I haven't even used this. I have never used this. This is something that's pretty new. It's pretty awesome. So this came in the update, which that's pretty dope right there, guys. So that's pretty cool. So now you have your radios. That's why I was kind of like, I haven't flown this thing for a minute. Normally it was another radio, but it was right here. But they replaced it with this bad boy here, which I'm happy to see. So a little bit of an avionics update. Now that that's done, guys, we're going to come up here to the upfront controller and the HUD, and notice that the pre-flight bit testing is complete. No failures found. That's what we want. You're going to hit enter. Then here on the select rocker, plus and minus, you're going to go minus all the way down to the caret is on the exit. Enter that, and now this is back in another selection that we could make to change our CCIP consent options. We can also change some weapons profiles of the reticle of the gun and a bunch of stuff here, but we're not going to do that now. Again, basic systems. So now with this part here being in this page, we're going to come back down here to the IFFCC, one right click, and put it to the on mode. Now that that's done, we're going to look at our left and right MFDs or DDIs, whatever you want to see, whatever you want to call it, and you're going to see this little message here. This is just meaning that everything has been loaded up into your DSMS, which is your digital stores management system, as well as anything combat related here in your inventory. So to get rid of this message, you can either just click this load all, and I'll explain that here in a second, or you can just hit this acknowledge. So we've acknowledged that. Now, since this aircraft, when it loads up, it uses a data cartridge for all of the weapons that are been loaded on, so that has the right logic, as well as the flight plan and any mission parameters that need to be put in the system is here. You could load these individually, so the TADS would be your tactical awareness display, which that's the map we're going to pull up. The DSMS is actually our stores. The TGP is our targeting pod, and this is just the load page to show what we have loaded. This load HMCS is our helmet mounted basically camera system or HMD. This arc also has to do with our navigation, or you can just hit load all, which is what we're going to do. Once we hit load all of these asterisks or dots will disappear. Now they're going to be gone for a second, and once they come back, that means the data cartridge is 100% loaded.
All allied coalition forces.
Now we can uncage our
and we are at this time advising
standby
to please
horizon here.
any threats at
Just
the
right click and hold
target
until it comes
area,
up,
which is in Port Harriet. I say again to all coalition forces, this is Overwatch. Please engage any enemy threats in Fan Bay, which is in Port Harriet.
Radio people
targets
done talking here.
Due to arrive to a allied asset by 12:30 hours. This is Overwatch. Over and out.
All right. So the mission is actually popping off right now. We're just somewhere else, and I should have picked another another mission to do it, but I just threw one in there, so we'll have to bear with all the chatter. All right, guys. Normally, after I do that, I would have started messing with our counter measures control panel, but instead, I listened to the person talking there so we could get past it. But now, as you can see, all of the asterisks or dots have came back, so now your data cartridge is loaded. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to make this screen a repeat of our CDU screen down here, which we're going to be using. So when we do that, we're just going to click on CDU. Now once we turned the CDU and IGI on and then put all of these KICU and the JTARs and the IFCC into the test, it started the alignment process already. This starts out here T equals, and it's not 4.00.8. This means it's aligned, and you'll also get flashing here. So as you're doing everything, you always want to pay attention to this after you've loaded the data cartridge, because it won't take you as long because you're not going to be explaining stuff. You're just going to be going through your flows. You want this to get at least to 4.00.8. When that's done, it'll say INS nav ready. You're going to simply come over here to the nav and click the nav button. Now that has accepted the INS alignment, and then for our navigation, now remember I said, see this says EGI, and down here when we turned our CDU on, we also hit this to the north position or the on position. This is the IGI type of navigation that this aircraft is using off the data cartridge for a CDU. So down here we also have to hit IGI, and now it's on TACAN. So if we're tracking a TACAN, our TACAN information is going to come in here, as well as heading, or so our distance would come here, and which heading we need to go onto would come here. However, and this is very useful for flying excuse me, with your head down in the cockpit, but because I want it on the steer points, we're going to put it on the steer point. And right now it's not selected to a waypoint, it's only selected to where we're at now. That's where it says 0 miles. Now that to confirm that this is all good, what you want to do is come up here, and you can either use it with your DMS up short or forward short on your HOTAS, or you can just hit this steer rocker here that says steer up and down. And right now we are at waypoint 0, or the initial position. So we're going to hit this up once, and now you can see it's went to target 1, which is basically 20 miles from here, and it gives you the time, if we were to start flying, how long it's going to take us to get there. Obviously the 3 is not moving, which will be the countdown in minutes how long it would take us to get there, but because we're sitting here, that's not going to happen. Alright guys, so now that that's done, you can come back here and look, it's repeated down here. There's the 20 miles, and this is our heading information here. So it's going to basically ask us to go on a heading of 70 to get to that location. Okay, this is going to be more or less if you're doing your course heading, if you can identify that. You will use a combination of this little block on the outer ring, as well as this if we, let's say, have a target locked up and a navigational waypoint. Then there'll be 2 different ones, and I'll show you guys how to pay attention to that once we're in the air. Now, other than that, so far we're doing good. So we have our first waypoint in there, but we're also going to be manipulating that. Now guys, let's come down here to our countermeasure system, and we're going to right click this into the manual. So right click to standby, and we could also right click it to manual, and 1 left click apiece is going to activate the missile warning systems, the jammer, and the RWR or RAR, radar warning system. that's all up. As you can see, MWS, your jammer, radar warning system, and this is our dispense. We are on program A. Now, if I want to alter this program here, all I need to do is put this into the into this mode here, and now I can change and program A what comes out when I depress the button. So 002 for shaft, so that'd be 2 shaft. Flare has none. So what I'm going to do is click this, and then I'm going to come over here and bring it up. So now let's dispense 3 there, and you know, you're good there. You can just hit the return, and it's in there. Shaft, let's do 3 2. So you're going to click it and come up once. Now that's 3 shaft, and hit the return. Now the interval is 1 second for these to come out, but I like to have mine at least 0.75. So we'll come down there to 0.75, hit return, and it's going to cycle 10 times that program. So it'll be a total of about 30 flares in intervals of 0.75 seconds that will be dispensed. Now, this is program A. We're going to hit return again, and it's running program A. And also up here, you can see that it's running alpha, and we have 240 shaft and 240 flare, and that's kind of how that works. Okay, we'll get into this missile warning system and the standby, the radar jammer here in a second. We don't even want to be concerned with this until we get in the air. But if you're an F-18 pilot here in DCS, you're also going to recognize this electronic warfare here. The EW, which is also a page that you cycle through on the F-18, so you can kind of understand that. Okay guys, that is done. Now it is definitely time to get the engines started up. So let's first of all ensure the canopy is closed. No big deal there. Now we also, if you wanted to turn on some lights, this would be your time to, you know, put this up, and you know, auxiliary instruments and your flood. This is your bottom right is your light panel. See, we'll turn the console up, but it's kind of light outside, so you're not going to really see it right now. Prior to us starting the engine, another thing we need to do is verify the fuel that we have on board. Here is your fuel panel here. Now, if you want to test the indicators, we're going to hold this test, and we're going to see the fuel balance out to where we're currently asking it to check it. So right now we're on the wing, so let's see how much fuel we have in the wing. What we're going to do to test the indicator to make sure it works, we are just going to left click and hold, and you can probably see that the bulk of our fuel is probably in our wings. We're going to release it, and it goes back to total fuel stores. If you left click, now it's going to show the same thing, and left click and hold. Alright, so it's still balancing out the difference between the wing tanks and the main tanks, and it's the same, so that's good. We'll go back to wing, and you can see that goes down there. So actually our main tank looks like it holds the most fuel here, and the wing tanks are fairly light, as you can see. And then if you go all the way over to your internal tanks, they also go all the way up. So that's how you check your fuel. And I believe, guys, we are ready for engine start. Now, usually what I do before I do start my engine, I come over here and I check on a few different things here. This is the COM page, and this is where you could come to the presets. Now, this is all new, guys. This wasn't in here, so this is in the update. But here's where you can come and look at all your preset COM stations here. So if you're using your main radio here, and you're going through the presets here, you'll definitely be able to tell what's on channel 1. So channel 1 is 251, and if you come here, look, channel 1 is 251. If I select it to channel 2, okay, there's channel 2, and I don't think it changes it here because you're going to be using the pre-selects here. So if you come here and use the preset, you have to put this knob off of manual to preset, and now channel 2 has got it 235, and it should also echo that up here. Let's see, channel 2, and it doesn't, so that's awkward. So let's go back to channel 1 and give that a check here. Okay, channel 1 here on this preset, it's got it 225. So it must be off somewhere in the preset. But anyway, we'll get into that, and I actually probably need a little more training because, like I said, this is all new. But that's kind of how you work with the presets. Let's see if the ground presets are what's actually it's working on. I don't think so. Okay, so we'll go back to manual, and then of course manual you'll manipulate your radio frequencies that way. But it is saying here that our wing is on 251, which kind of made sense. So there you go. So that's your comms menu, which again is a new feature. It's an avionics update to the A10. And of course, if you want to select the rows, you can see there's your arrow. You just select down the row, and then you could enter that frequency here with frequency, or even name it. See, the name is the ATC, so you could go here and click on this name piece right here, and now you can input it from up here in the kick queue. So you know, we could name that one, you know, whatever we wanted. You could name it 55. And then we just put 55 in there, see? So that's how you kind of change that, guys. So that's your comms menu. And again, this is new, so we're not going to get too much into this. This is basic systems today. Now we're going to go into our digital stores, and this is where we see what is armed on the aircraft and on what stations. We got our CBU 97 under the belly of the aircraft at station 6. Our GBU 12 and on stations 8 and 4. That's closer to the bottom of the aircraft, and then we'll be able to see our AGMs. They're on stations 3 and 9. Okay, so if we look here, this is, let's see, what side is this on? So this is station 3 that it's on, and it's got a pylon that can hold up to 3 AGMs there. And if we go to the right side, this would be station 9. Okay, and so on and so forth, guys. I'm not going to kill you guys with, so you could basically go see what's on your aircraft and, you know, look out visually and see it. So this is the stores page. When we get up in the air, we'll work on some of these systems here, like the GBU 12 and the AGM 65, although we're going to be pretty close proximity, so we will 100% most certainly be arming these, working on these profiles as soon as we get airborne. And even if we have to fly around in an orbit, and I'll show you guys the autopilot in orbit, we'll do that as well. So this is the digital stores page. This is also a big useful page here in the A10. A lot of people don't know how to use this, and this thing is awesome because if I'm flying with other A10s, not only am I going to see you on here, but I'll be able to send you messages and send you targeting information. And one thing that you'll know what that is, this TN number right here, that stands for our flight group. So for example, our wing is 01, and our flight group is 02, and I may have that backwards, but that's how it works. So I'd be able to tell if there was more than one of us flying. And we'll kind of get into this. When I said basic systems, that's not me explaining all this stuff, but this itself, you can make this the SOI, or sensor of interest, and again, that's where you're going to be using your see how I just made it, make sure I didn't open those flaps up. See how I just made it to where there's a square around of it? That means it's my sensor point of interest. Like if I click off of there, see how I'm switching it around here? I'm using it the right one. But let's say, you know, I wanted to come over here and make the TGP the sensor point of interest. That's how I do it. Or I can simply come up and hit up once, and that little asterisk puts this back as a sensor point of interest. Then I can still use my and this is the coolie hat left. So I'm cycling left, and that's why you want to do it. Now a short left cycles through these pages down here. Okay, now when you're on a page that can be selected as a sensor of interest, it'll be coolie hat left long, a long hold, until that square goes around there. And then you can manipulate stuff on here. Watch, I can even move the little cursor if I want to and select different things, but we're not going to. And as I move on to something that has information as far as an aircraft, which in this case it's our own, latitude and longitude information comes down here, and it gives you certain information about it. So I'm hovering over it, it tells me this is my aircraft identification within the wing, okay, and certain things, but we're not going to get into that, guys. Okay, that's a lot going on, man. So let's get this guy back over here on the CDU, which is basically a repeat of what's down here. And now to change this screen, hang on, let me slide back a little bit here. Phoenix J says, yo, what's poppin', Dre? Man, just getting situated in the new let's see, in the new spot. Haven't full with the PC yet. Gotta get that F-18 Hornet with me. Yes sir, get that F-18, my G. That thing is bomb, and I'll help you learn it. Anyway, guys, so now if you can see this screen here, it's on the align screen, all right? And the way we could always get to that screen, of course, would be to come up here and manipulate some of these things here. But again, this is getting into a longer lesson, which we're not doing. So what we're going to do in order to change this screen, which is also repeated up here, we are going to come here and we're going to put this on steer point, and then we're going to put this one here on the flight plan. Now it's going to give us steering info up here, okay, and that's what we're moving those knobs for. So our steering information in our flight plan is here, and you can see here it's on the initial position as it is up here. But if I change it again up on the steer point here, now it's got our same information to our steering point 1, which is an elevation of 75. It's a heading of 070, which I said before. See, it's 070 is the heading. It's saying 070, and the distance to go there is 19.6 nautical miles, okay? So that gives you some information in here, which we can also use this to manipulate stuff. So we're going to be adding those coordinates here in a second, and I'll show you how to access those before we go blow some stuff up. Okay, now we're going to also notice that it's also this information here, target 1. The distance, again, is repeated in the HUD. It's repeated here, and it's repeated here. And it's originated from here, the CDU. Okay, this is the original source that it's providing you information. All right, guys, enough of that. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you guys is that now that we put our knobs here to the steer point or steer point here and the flight plan. So basically this left knob is going to give you where you're steering to, whether it's a mark point that you made using your targeting pod, whether it's a point that you put in using a mission waypoint, or whether it's a flight plan. So this basically is telling you what type of points the aircraft is going to follow. This page here is going to tell you what's displayed on this screen here, basically. Okay. So now you can see the flight plan here, okay? And now that I have still, this is the sensor of interest. If I do DMS up, short, or down, it changes the range, okay? And that's, again, this is on my joystick, my HOTAS. So it would be, you know, it would be, let's see if we can look at it. It would be on this here, or some of your buttons that are on here, okay? But it's going to be mapped to your controls. So now as I cycle down, it increases. So DMS aft increases the distance, and now look, I can see all of my waypoints that I'm going to fly to. Okay, here's all of the waypoints that we're going to fly to, and this again is in the flight plan. All right, we're going to be adding those points even before we start the engine, because once we start the engine, we're up out of here, guys. It's going to go quick. And I haven't flown here for a while, so I need to basically pay attention. Okay, there's the runway there. We'll take off in the best direction possible. All right, guys, so now that we have all of that taken care of, we are, and guys, on your CMS, you're also going to want to do a CMS depress along with your 4 CMS positions, because you're definitely going to want to do the depress and hold, because that's also what's going to turn your radar jammer on, which we have right here. This is your radar jammer to the left, and the other item that we're using a lot is your targeting pod, which is here, which is also in your DSMS page. If you look and want to know what stations those are, number 1 is your radar jammer here, and station 10, which is here, is your lightning pod. So that's kind of how that works, folks. All right, guys, so let's get into making the waypoint. So first and foremost, we're going to bring this to other, and we're going to bring this to mission, and we're going to start putting in some new waypoints. Now, one thing, let's see here. Okay, we're back on the line. So now we're going to come have to here. Instead of being on nav, we're going to hit waypoint, WP. And now we're also going to click waypoint here. Okay, so right now it's the initial position, but the next waypoint that we create is going to be this 8 waypoint right here. So we're going to get right into it now. So obviously when we name it, we're going to name it something different. Okay, so I'm going to write the name first and then put in the waypoint, and then we're going to put the grid coordinates for that waypoint, and then we'll check it. So again, let's go back and show you how we did that. Just again, I know I'm going kind of quick, but I'm trying to get out of here. So if we go back to the nav page, Actually, you can hit waypoint again and just go back to the steer point here. And again, it's still going to have the distance and all that good stuff to our first waypoint. Okay. Also, too, another way to change this screen, just not to confuse you guys, is you can come up to here, function. You got to hit function first, and let's hit the nav first. When you hit function and the nav, this is how you get the align, the time, update, attributes, blendeds, or if we need to divert to a different field, these are the how we're going to do that, and I will show you guys that on the way back. But we don't want that, so let's hit function again, and we're going to hit 3. Now function in 3 brings us back to this page right here, and again you could hit waypoint, and now it's the same screen that we were just in. So there's a few different ways to work around this aircraft, which is not bad at all. Same thing too, we can get on the mission page by clicking function and 2, and it's going to show the mission page, so don't worry about that. So what we have to pay attention to now is the fact that our grid coordinates right now are showing up latitude and longitude. Okay, so here's the latitude and the longitude, south and then west. So you know these are your lat and longs, okay? And you can put it in there in this method, but I'm going to put it in there in MGRS. Now MGRS, you see here, it's 21 Foxtrot, right? And then Whiskey Golf 84, okay? So the only thing we're going to be putting here on this line is the 3 digits of our new waypoint. However, we're going to name it first. We're going to name this waypoint first. So we're going to put this here in the upfront controller. So we're going to come down here because this is easier to use. And the first extra target that we're going to make, we're going to name it D. Let's see. DSK for Dishka, and we're going to give it a 1. Okay, see that? DSK for Dishka 1. And we're going to hit the 8. Boom. So now we just have this new waypoint. Now by nature, it's automatically going to have, and you see the next waypoint we're going to make is 9. By nature, it's automatically going to have the location where we're at now. Salud. Bless you. However, we want to change it. So the first waypoint that we put was 21 Foxtrot. Okay, so that's the initial grid location, and it's grid square Victor Charlie. So we'll do 21 Foxtrot in the first line. So again, we're going to come back down here. We're going to hit 21. Oops, my track IR is tripping. 21 Foxtrot. You can come up here and see it's there. So 21 Foxtrot, and we're going to hit it on this line right here. Wow. So 21 Foxtrot is now in there. Now it's saying it's still Whiskey Golf 84, but it's not. The rest of your grid coordinates that you're going to put in now is the Victor Charlie and all the numbers. So we're going to come down here. Victor Charlie 01259 01259, and then of course 01259 86276. 86. Did I get the 6 there? See, Victor Charlie 01259. Okay, we didn't get the 6 in there. Let's get track IR working again. 86276. Okay, now we're back up here. Victor Charlie 01259 86276. And now we're just going to put it right here in this one right here. Bye, y'all. So now we're 21 Foxtrot. We are Victor Charlie 01259 8256. And the, let's see here, elevation was 30. And it says 32 feet. But that's fine. It's close enough. So you know that that's correct enough, you know. So elevation is 30. Bada bing, bada boom. That waypoint has been made. And I think for the sake of time, we're just going to do that one waypoint. Now, once we get in the air to access that waypoint, we have to have this on the mission. And remember, it's waypoint 8, because if you have it on the flight plan, you're not going to see it. So now we can put this back to steer, because it's not other anymore. and we'll go to we're still with this on the mission, which means this is the mission waypoints include the flight plan. Okay, the flight plan only includes what's ever loaded on the data cartridge. The mark points are something that you mark once you're using your targeting pod, and you mark those points and you can save it in there. So we're going to save it on the mission waypoint. So the way we check that our waypoint made it, you see how we are on target 1. Well, 1/TGT1 stands for first waypoint / and I named it target 1. Let's go all the way up to 8 and make sure that we have, there it is right there. 8 was the 8th waypoint we made / DSK1, and it's only 15 miles from here. And then that information is right here. So we successfully made our own mission waypoint. Now, we are going to essentially just navigate straight over there, so we'll leave that in there. Okay, and then again, everything matches up. It says it's about 15.4, 15.4. It's on a heading of 002, and now you can see we've got our heading indicator roughly 002, as well as we're going to get that information in here to tell us where we need to go, and you can see it right here. Here's 002. So navigating the A10 is very easy as long as you're paying attention. Rock City says, big up to you, man. Big up to you, Rock City. Alright guys, so now that that is done, it is time to stop playing the games. Let's go ahead and go for our engine start. So the A10, by default, the flaps will look like they're down, but they're not. It's just there's no power to the aircraft. So the first thing we want to do is put our anti-skid in the up position. Okay, and we're not going to do our takeoff trims until there's power on the aircraft. The A10 basically doesn't have a parking brake at all, so it's just there. And you'll see that, you know, these engines don't cause enough thrust just idling there for it to start moving. So there is a emergency brake, but it is not, I never use it. Okay. All right. So anti-skid is up. Everything is looking good. And now you are going to want to also bind your controls to enter the fuel into the left and the right engine. By default in this aircraft, it's Alt and Home and Control, or left Alt and Home for the left engine and right Control and Home for the right engine to add fuel. If you want to map something to your controls, which I don't know why you would just for that, then you can do so. So APU's up and running. Everything else is good here. We can also finally do our oxygen test. So this is our oxygen indicator test here. Once it cycles all the way to 0, we're going to get a flashing indicator up here. This should say master caution, and release it, and it should come back to where it's stowed, and the warning should go away. So that's good. It won't be audible. Okay guys, so now we're going to start the right engine. So the only thing you do, as you notice these controls here, you can either have them split or on one throttle. Doesn't matter how you want to do it. If you want to do more kind of like try to do some thrust vectoring without the actual component on there, then that's how you would do it. You'd split them and do it that way, which sometimes that differential thrust kind of helps out. But we're not going to worry about that right now. You're going to notice this, we're going to start the right engine first. As soon as I add fuel, this is going to go up into a detent. All right. Once these both get fuel into the detent, then that's where your throttles are automatically full idle. So don't even worry about that. So we are going to call right engine. Engine is not moving at all. So I'm going to do right control and home. And now you can see we've got rotation on our oil pressure, our RPM, everything going on here. And you can see the engine temperature's coming up. You can also visually come out and take a look at her. She's definitely up and spinning. You're going to get a warning here when this engine is fully available to let you know it is available. Also, another indicator of a good engine, our flaps indicator, since there's going to be power on the aircraft, it's going to come all the way up. So that's basically indicating that the generator is connected and that now the hydraulics and everything have pressure. Okay, as you can see, we're getting that master caution. So that means we have a good start on the right engine. Now left engine is off. And you can see how it's different now. The detent is up. Okay. Now the left engine is the right Alt and Home. So the right Alt on your keyboard is what I'm referring to in Home, and that'll start your left engine. Coffee of Sorts says he made it. Yes, sir. You are here. We're getting ready to go now put this tutorial to good use and take out some targets. Hopefully we don't get taken out. Alright folks, see how we're doing on time. Not too bad, not too bad at all. So now you can see the right engine is completely stable, and now the left engine has stabilized itself as well. Oil pressures are looking good, RPMs are looking good, and temperatures are as well looking good. Our fan percent and RPMs for the left and right engines looking good. Fuel flow is stabilized in both engines, and we can see the APU is still on, which we can get off now. So now that the engines are verified on, you want to go ahead and come here to your right upper console here and left click to bring your APU power off. We are now going to arm the chair just by clicking it, and we're going to left click for the APU to come off, and you'll hear it spool down. While you're on this side, you're also going to want to arm this EAC. This EAC allows the aircraft, because all the stabilators are on and the engine's on, and more importantly the navigation is aligned, for you to actually manage the autopilot. So you're going to do one right click up and the EAC is on. And of course you can see this is the very basic autopilot panel, which we'll explain that in the air if we have enough time. I'm not promising to build Rome in this one stream here. Now that the aircraft is definitely powered up, you can see that that indicator is up. We didn't touch the flaps, and you can see that the flaps are still in the 0 position. So before we get our flaps down, we're going to click and hold the takeoff trim and just hold it. I usually hit it a couple times, and you can see as soon as you let go, it's done. All of our stabilators for the yaw and the pitch are all taken care of. All of these boost pumps are already up. I'm just kind of scanning because with this update, I love how they updated the avionics. Now, you notice we haven't been rocking with our helmet on. This over here where it says replace battery, this basically three-way switch here is how you turn your helmet on. So I'm just going to right click it to up, and this helmet you don't need to align, but you can see now we even have some information in our helmet mounted display. Once that helmet mounted display gets in the range where your eyes should be able to see the HUD, it disappears, you know, so the pilot's not getting confused with this information versus the other information. As soon as you come out of range though, it comes back on, which is pretty sweet. And this itself can also be a sensor of interest, and we can move this around and visually lock targets up. But anyway, so that is all done, guys. Just now working my flows. Left panel radios are all on, EAC is on. We also have the APU off. The emergency ejection seat mechanism is armed. We've taken our trims. Anti-skid is on. Now guys, we're going to put our flaps, if I can remember which one was my flaps here. Okay, I did. So we're going to put our flaps, we're a little heavy. I'm going to take off flaps 20 just to be on the safe side, okay? That'll probably need us to get us about 170 knots. Okay, still working the left side. I also do something here. Because we are going to be using our targeting pod and a laser guided bomb, we're going to arm our laser with one click up, right click to arm, and we're going to turn the targeting pod on. So it starts to become basically in the standby mode. Okay, we're not doing any type of master arm or arming the gun just yet, so these are off. And of course we'll do our taxi lights to the on position because we are getting ready to taxi. And now let's come work the right side. Our countermeasures are all on. We don't have any warnings here on our annunciator panel. APU's off, inverters on, the batteries of course on, and the generators are already up into the auto position. Our CDU is on and cracking. We have it on our mission because we're going to go straight to our mission waypoint. We're going to use our steering information into the CDU. And let's see here. Now our pitot heat, technically we can turn that on right before we take off, but we're going to start rolling so we can turn it on. But this would be something you would normally turn on right before you line up on the runway and get, because this, you don't want this thing to overheat. Then you got our oxygen indicator test, which we've already done. If we were doing any ILSs or TACANs, this is where you would type the TACAN in over here. Obviously we're not doing any TACAN flying right here. And then here's your internal and external panel, and we have already turned our HMCS or HMD, which I like to call it, helmet mounted display, to the on position. Okay guys, flaps are down. Let's go ahead and do our flight controls check. Alright, we're going to move our joystick all around. Let's do our rudder pedals right, rudder pedals left, and toe tap. Okay, toe brakes are working. Let's come out of the aircraft now and lift up our speed brakes. And speed brakes look to be functioning just fine. Now normally in a general world, this would be where you would actually, you know, make sure AT's giving you final clearance to taxi. But here we go guys. So the A10 is up and running and she is looking mean. We got our taxi light on. We're in a combat environment, so we're not flying with any beacons or anything on the outside. Alright, let's figure out this runway. Let's see. Basically, it doesn't matter which way we go because we're going to be out to the north there. So let's power up. Oh guys, and another thing you got to do is you got to also put something on for your steering to be engaged. That's also a button that does something when you're in the air and the wheels are up. So steering is now engaged. You'll see it come on and off, steering on. So you also have to bind a button for that. And finally, because it's such a short distance to our target area, because we're using the laser and we're using the we got Mavericks on board, we want this EO timer off, which is basically how the Mavericks time themselves out to go to the on position. Now if you don't want that timer on already, you can set it up to make sure you do it a range from a waypoint. So you would do like range such and such from waypoint whatever, and you would use it by typing this information in here and putting it in there, and it could come on that way. But we're just simply, and it would come on automatically, like you would, you know, put it on the location, time, or manual mode. Okay, see, there's those three ones. We're going to do manual. We're just going to turn it on right now. So the EO timer is on, so now the Maverick will be available when we need to use it, because it needs some of this missile control for us in order to get our Maverick, which is here, to where it needs to go. And this also works for the AIM-9s that are over here as well. So now we can come back here to our status page, to our tactical awareness display, and let's do this. Might get ATC message popped up here. See, because we didn't, you know, talk or whatever, but we're not worried about it. And there's the reason I don't do tutorials too often, because it's very time consuming. But I promised I would do it for my homeboy, so here we are. Hopefully this helps some folks out. And again, I needed to get into the A10 because with the HOTAS controls, there are definitely a lot going on. Okay, so the other aircraft took off basically to the northwest, so we'll do the same thing. So we'll do a bit of a back taxi here. See how far back we need to go. Okay, we'll go landing lights on since we're on the runway here. And guys, thanks for riding with your boy. Now I got the tutorial done for my homie, so he can go back and watch the video as much as he wants. Alright guys, enough of those shenanigans. Coffee of Sorts says, I've heard the A10 is one of those most complicated aircraft to fly in DCS. Yep, and it's only because she's got so many awesome systems on her. But once you get the HOTAS controls together, let's see what's going on here. What is this all about? Oh, this is the I slowed down a little bit. That's the F-18 practice wire for carrier landings. Just wanted to make sure we could roll over it. Yeah, but Coffee, man, this thing here is very complicated until it's not, you know. And you gotta do different flights in this thing using the different systems, which we're gonna try to do today, guys. So we got a couple different target areas. We're gonna go over to where we want to go and make sure that the target that we put in there, the Dishka 1, is actually where it is. So we'll get a missile right on that, guys. You know, I think we'll get them. We'll do some Mavericks first and show you guys how those work in here. Again, this is just basic systems. So by me using the weapons, that's a little bit above the basic systems here. There's a cross runway there. We could have took off that way too. I didn't know that. That's all right. We'll take off perpendicular and then get onto our turn. It'll be a right turn upon departure. Here's another one of those F-18 carrier ops, so you could come and practice that. Nice long runway. Hey guys, flaps are to 20, landing lights are on, pitot is on. And like I said, guys, this is good practice for me as well, because I have not flown the A10 as much as none of these aircraft. I've been doing a lot of helicopter ops. Okay, as we get into the turn, flight controls check. Okay, they're all checking out. Nice turnaround. Shadow Dark, you still on? Yes, sir. She just went to sleep. Okay, Shadow, let me do this little bit, and then if we got some more, because I'm not on a multiplayer server right now, then we'll get into it. This was Shadow Dark. Welcome to the stream, and this was a stream for him anyway. All right. Okay, so we're going to line up here, do our last bit of checks. We're good. We're departing out to the right. Now, we're pretty close here, so what we're going to basically do is get in an orbit and do some things. So I'm going to show you guys the autopilot. Again, it's A if you want to use the autopilot. I forgot which button I mapped it to. Matter of fact, let me see before we take off what button it is, just because I don't want to get in the air and be pushing the wrong button. Let's see. Oh, that's the HOTAS. So let's get back up here into all but access commands. Let's see. Boom. That's flaps down, flaps up. Okay, we knew that. That's okay. The LLP engage, disengage. This is your autopilot stuff. Okay. So the second one's the autopilot. Third is for cockpit view, flyby view. Okay, cool. I'm glad I did that. And then this is the coolie hat switch left and boat switch. Okay, boat switch aft, boat switch. And I don't really use the boat switch, but I'm glad we got the flybys in there, so I don't have to take my hands off that. And then we also got the LLP engage, disengage, the laced. That's what they're calling the autopilot on this thing. So that's what that is. So we're good to go there. Let's make sure our flaps didn't go up. All right, we're good to go. Shadow says, no worries. I can just rewatch the recording so we don't have to repeat again. Just go work on some tanking and carrier landings on Marianas or our server. Okay, roger that. And if I switch over, Shadow, keep watching the stream. I'll let you know, and then we can go on to one of those servers together. I'll be checking on time. I'll check with the wifey first, though. All right, guys. So we definitely have everything that we need for takeoff. Now let's just take off. So we're going to advance the power. Stabilize the engines right there at about 70. And full power thrust. And at 50 knots, once the airspeed becomes alive on the HUD, we're going to disengage the nose wheel steering and use rudder authority. Okay, steering wheel, nose wheel steering is disengaged. $104 knots. 130 on the speed. 150. We're going to look for about 170 with this weight. And 170 and rotate. Coming off. Gears coming up. Flaps are coming up. Alright, we'll start making our turn. So let's get up and over these mountains here, guys. And we are going to get to work. So let's get some altitude here. And we are up and at them. As you guys can see now, we're on the heading, and this is why I love the A10. We can literally fly head down. I don't need to look. Let's just look for terrain, of course. So we're going to pitch up. She's not a fast bird, but she's efficient. So here's our pitch. We know there's no terrain. I can literally fly the aircraft just looking now, knowing that there's no terrain in the way. This is our altitude in barometric. Okay. This is our speed. We're just above 200 knots. All this will be repeated in the HUD as well. And this is our heading. So I can literally fly head down and be looking at these screens if I'm in an environment which I can do so. We're climbing. We're maintaining about 200 knots. This is our vertical speed here. You can see it's fluctuating here as I fly a little bit unstable there. This is our radar warning system here. And see, we're climbing out. Now we're a little bit off, so I'll come to the left just a little bit and line this up. And we're going to stay right on course. There we go. We're at about 4,000. We're going to go higher. Now in the HUD, you can see that tadpole is exactly where we put the waypoint. So remember, guys, this is the waypoint that we made. We made this waypoint here as we started the aircraft up, and so we made it. So that's where those targets are. So we don't want to get too close yet. So let's, we're going to be in a left-hand orbit. And I'm going to show you how the left-hand orbit autopilot works. Because I'm a nice guy. Alright guys, so we're 5,600 feet. And you can even see where the waypoint is in here as you continue to climb. And it's also indicated here with the yellow. It's called the wedding cake. And maybe the next set of targets will actually use our helmet mounted display to lock those up, so I can show you how that's done. Alright guys, so now if you look out of my helmet, as I look out of the helmet, there's that white wedding cake. That is the actual target. And there's another target 4 over there, which I had there anyway. But that white wedding cake, because my helmet mounted display, is going to let me know. And you can tell that I'm flying basically wings level. And the little center of the helmet gives you a little pointer to where the target's at. So there we go, guys. That's the actual target there. So let's get a little bit more altitude, and then we're going to go into a left hold, basically around the target. I want to make a nice circular pattern around the target per se. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a cloud, so I'm going to come down a little bit now. Let's pull that power back slightly. I'm going to use some pitch trim. You can see me using it here. See the pitch trim? Boom. It's pretty cool how they get all that done. We see it again. Boom, boom. I'm telling you, man, I don't know what there's not to love about DCS. Okay, so we're out of the cloud layer, so we're going to stay right here. We're going to arrest some of that climb and the speed, and let's make a left turn. Now, in order for us to keep our altitude, all we need to do is left click down and altitude. So it'll hold my bank. It'll let me choose the bank with my basically roll authority, and it'll keep our altitude is what we want. So we want to stay about right here in a nice soft easy left bank. And now guys, I'm going to engage the autopilot. You got to make sure you're trimmed up though. So let's trim up a little bit better. Pull that speed back. Trimming up, and autopilot is engaged. You can hear it by the click. So now guys, I'm just going to manage my speed, and we're in a nice little soft left bank, ever so slightly, but if I move the controls, it will allow me slightly to hold it. And we're going to monitor our speed and gas, so we're holding right at 7,000. So it's ever so slightly, and I might need to increase the bank actually. Let's get back in and see where that target is. Yeah, let's increase the bank a little bit. So let me take the autopilot off briefly. Okay, autopilot is off, and I'm going to increase the bank slightly. Just work on those trims. Okay, autopilot is engaged again, and there it is. Alright guys, now there is the fun part. So, we definitely can see the wedding cake here that we're circling around. This is our aircraft, and we want to make sure that we have a nice circle around the target area, which is there. So, now that's too much of a bank. Let me take it off and kind of do a little bit of bank right, maybe like right here. Okay, autopilot's back on. Speed's nice and slow. Alright, it's time to have some fun, guys. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to get our targeting pod on and our Maverick on. So to get a targeting pod on, you can switch these screens on either one you like. I like to have my targeting pod on the right side. And again, flying head down, we know the aircraft is on the autopilot. It's going to maintain 7,000. You just have to keep an eye on your speed. Let's see, we lost the target, but it's almost straight down, so we got to be careful because they could probably shoot up at us. I might be playing with fire here, but anyway, let's turn the targeting pod on. It's automatically in standby, and it's not SOI because it's not the sensor of interest right now. So we're going to hit air to ground, and that's going to come on, and it's already in the wide feature. Now, it is bore sighted, or it's just looking at the front of the aircraft. It is not focused on anything, okay? You can even see the bore sight location. It's 28 miles from where it's looking straight off the aircraft. However, okay, so the target area must be down there. I think we're high enough. We're not getting any action. We can also tell that it's behind us now as we do our slow turn. So we're doing good. So the first thing we're going to do, and here, we'll do something. So I'm going to do a coolie hat left long. I just made this sensor of interest. And now DMS up short, DMS forward short is going to reduce it. So we get a little bit better orientation. Now, I can also hook my aircraft to this point here and make that, I can use this hook on, and I can actually make a line directly from wherever I want to put that hook to my aircraft, but we're not going to do it. Okay, so let's check on our speed. We're doing good. Our altitude is stable. Now, because the HUD is not SOI, so we'll make it SOI in a minute, but the HUD has our waypoint, which is literally right on top of those targets. We're going to go coolie hat, I believe it should be up in order, or it might be forward, either up or forward. Tap it once. Now, you'll know it's over here. You get the asterisk. See, the asterisk is back in here. Now, I toggled past my TGP. Now, in order, I want to slave all of my sensors over to the target area. Okay? Let's find that target. Okay, target area is way over here, so we're doing good. And there's another friendly aircraft over here that's reporting in the air. Okay? So we're doing a nice left slow bank, so this is good, guys. Here is our target area, and our helmet mounted display is showing up. And this is the sensor of interest. So now I want to slew all of my sensors, meaning the Maverick and the targeting pod, to one area. So let's get our Maverick on. And see, it says master arm safe. So that means now we need to arm our aircraft. Let's also arm the gun pack. Going to get a little dip. And we're still good. Autopilot is still on. We're still in our bank. Now this is not SOI and this is not SOI. So that tells you either my helmet is SOI or this is SOI. But by the asterisk, the HUD is SOI. Okay. Now what we're going to do is China hat forward long, and it will slave everything over to the target. Now it's looking for the target, however it can't see because it's masked right now. It's not at gimbal limits. It means because we're in our left bank and it's over here, the targeting pod, which is now, you can see the targeting pod is looking at us. See, so once we get to a certain point, it'll be able to see it once we're out of this turn. Okay, and this is also there as well. So we'll just keep our turn. Eventually this is going to start facing down as we get closer to the target, and if it doesn't, we'll make it work. And actually, let's take it off autopilot and put ourselves in a different profile here. Maybe we'll do a right turn. Autopilot's off. Let's go ahead and do our turn here. All right. Okay, now I'm just gonna do it flying it, guys, because I'm a gangster. Okay, see, now it's got that bridge there, and you can see here. So let's zoom that in. Okay, you always got to watch your speed, and we'll kind of keep in the left bank. So I'm going to do coolie hat long right. I've just made the HUD, and now I'm going to do China hat forward short to zoom in. Now I can use my DMS, and there's the truck right there, guys. That's the target that we got. That's what we're going to be shooting. So now what I'm going to do is use my slew feature. Okay, I'm right on the target. That's a Dishka right there. I'm going to TMS up forward, and then short, and then TMS up forward long. Okay. Now that guy is locked. Let's get even better lock. Let's slew it up a little bit. Okay, so now I'm doing a long hold. Okay, and now I'm going to also wait till we get better orientation straight onto the target. Okay, so he's down there, so we're going to roll back in. And we're going to shoot a missile on him, guys. That's what we're doing today. Then we'll do some bombing runs. We'll also try to do a manual lock of a target using our HMD. So again, we got the target locked. We're going to keep... You can see it's basically right behind us, and it still says 8 in the mission. Then we'll do a couple of bombing runs, and then, you know, basically bring her back to the barn, and this tutorial will be done, son. Okay, and there's the FARP. That's another waypoint. You can see that's a FARP. As we egress out of here, I'll fly right over the FARP, but there's the FARP. The cool thing about the HMD, it shows you all of your waypoints, even if you just happen to go by it. Look, there's some more information over there. There's more information, so that's why this HMD on this A10 is the bomb. Okay, folks, we're about 6.2 miles out, keeping about 6,300 feet. Andy Black says, got the F-18 a year ago. Yes, F-18 is bad. I love it. Should I get the A10C or I'd get the A10C first, man. For real, for real. I have the Harrier too. I still got to learn that aircraft, which is awesome. But to me, the A10 is just such an electronic beast. Okay, guys, let's turn back in here. Again, I can fly down and get my nose. Watch this. We're gonna fly face down. I don't even need to look, and I can just manage my aircraft this way. I don't even need to see, and you can see on the screen over there, even as I'm turning, the target is there. Nice slow turn, slow our speed down. Our altitude is pretty much staying static at 6,700 feet. And remember, guys, I haven't looked out the window, but I know what my aircraft is doing. Okay, we're bringing it around. I'm also I'm multitasking, getting those vehicles right in the limit there. So there's a lot of multitasking here. Okay. There we go. Let's straighten it out. Let's get on this missile. So now, guys, it's 7.4 miles away. Okay, long hold. Now, guys, I'm going to coolie hat. I'm going to do a coolie hat long left. Okay, I just made my Maverick where it needs to be. Let me do something here just to check really quick. Back over to the right. Long hold. Okay, coolie hat long left. TMS up. Let's zoom in. And we got a good lock, guys. We got a good lock. Now the only thing we got to do is go and select our AGMs, which I should have done in the first place. Back to the Maverick. Okay, so let's rearm it again. That was my bad. So let's go long. There we go. Let's see, we're 3.8. Okay, we're too close to it. Actually, we may not. Let's slow our speed down a little bit here. We may still... Okay. Coolie hat loft long. China hat short. TMS up. No track. Launch inhibit. Okay. We must be too close to it. So let's come back around. Because it's right on the truck there. So that's a good lock. We'll just come back around. And then we'll lock it up. We got a little bit too close to it and we were too high. I would have had to aim the nose down a little bit. So let's get some altitude here. Let's put it right at our 6 o'clock. Andy says, I got a remote control model of the A10C, a mini one to fly in a park a couple of years ago. That's nice, man. How's that thing fly? I've been meaning to get in some RC flying as well. Alright, so we're going to fly out a little bit. Let's use our pitch control here. And then, of course, this is not going to give us any display because it's on gimbal limits. Okay, we're about 4 out. Let's climb, and then we'll turn back around, guys. Okay, we're at 5,000. We're going to do a climb and turn here. Pulling that speed back. Okay, once again, coming back over. TMS up long. Nice and high. So that, and you can see that camera's working, boy. Okay, China hat long. There we go. Coolie hat long left. China hat forward short. TMS up. And boy, it's having a hard time locking onto that target right there. Okay, we got a good lock. Rifle. There goes that missile. I'll try to fly nice and slow so we can see it impact. So 1 is away. We'll go into a little bit of a left bank here and look right in the screen. We should have a detonation there any second now. Start a little bit of a left bank. Okay, so we got another one. We locked up another one. So we did hit the other dish. Let's come over to the map here, or the let's look and see which one we hit. Okay, there's the one we hit right there. Right there, boom. Okay, we'll make sure. Oh, you know why? Because it wouldn't lock that one up. Let's try this run here. So we got one hit, guys. That was a good one. Next time we'll put the 8. Let's get some altitude and we'll put the A10, and we'll get us in the lock feature there. But I can still, even as I'm flying away. Okay, it just got masked. I was gonna say, as I'm flying away, I can still use the targeting pod, which is awesome. Okay, so we'll get another missile off, and we'll make sure we watch that explosion. Let's get a little bit more altitude here. Let's see. Black says, can I use a Thrustmaster FCS T16 with T-flat rudder pedals in DCS world? I have no need to spend the cash on the expensive. I think you can, man. I mean, it's just a matter of making sure that DCS recognizes your hardware, and however many buttons that you have, you know, you use them to try to put what you can on those buttons. Basically, that would be my advice. So you can use, as long as DCS recognize your controls, you're comfortable with using them. Okay, it finally blew up. That dish finally blew up. As long as you're comfortable with using them, I don't see an issue with it. You know, and that's what it's about. It's about your experience and what you're okay with and what, you know, you can afford, obviously. All right, guys, looking down here, we're 6, almost 7 miles from there, we're going to do we'll do a pretty much a level turn here. A10 can fly nice and slow. We were doing about 250 indicated, so let's turn back around here, and we'll select another one. Okay, you see, as we turn, I'm going to start searching for this one over here, guys. And let's zoom in. Okay, we got a little bit high on the cloud there. Okay, we're going to lock them up. Come on, give me a good lock there. Almost all the way around. Maybe because he's... There we go. Alright, let's get it on point. And let's switch this page up over here. Okay, let's slow down. So boom, boom, boom. Let's relock it here. Sometimes it takes a little work. Up. Boom, long, China hat short, TMS up, and we got a lock. Okay, we got a limit there. Let's put that nose down. Okay, we got another limit, so it didn't like the profile. All right, rifle. So let's put the A10. Put it in a little left bank here. Pitch up. Autopilot. And we'll get right on that weapon. We'll see if we get a hit. Bye-yow! I think that's a hit, guys. We can look in the screen, and that's a hit. Shack 1, Shack 1, Shack 1. So that's how you guys use those AGMs. The biggest thing is working your screens, you know. You got to kind of get them in the targeting pod here, lock them up, lock them in, and then switch your sensor of interest. Well, after you make that the sensor point of interest by TMS up short and then TMS up long, you want to go, and then China hat forward short, then you want to go over to your Maverick screen and make that the sensor point of interest, or sensor of interest, I should say, and do what you got to do there. All right, let's switch that screen back to our targeting pod. Okay, guys, the next thing we're gonna do is let's get situationally aware here. Let's make sure we still got waypoint 8 in there, which we do. It's about 4 miles out. So that's kind of how we're doing that, guys. We are going to do a bombing run now. All right, y'all, we're gonna do a bombing run now. So let's. Now with the bombing thing here, we're gonna take the Mavericks off. Let's see, make sure we're symmetrical. We got 1 and 3, so we're not symmetrical at all. So I'm gonna show you how to kind of get this thing symmetrical by using your weapons. We're gonna use the GBUs only on this side. We're gonna use 1, and let's see here. Let's go to profile, and we want single. We want CCRP. Okay, we're gonna do auto lays on. We're going to laze for 10 seconds. Our minimum safe altitude is going to be 1,000. And again, this is more advanced stuff, so don't try to memorize this if you can't. Okay, now we've got our GBU set up for a bomb drop. We'll select another target, and let's get some altitude. Oh, we're pretty high. I think we're good here. Let's go ahead and turn back around and select our next target, guys, and see if we can get us a bomb dropped. What you guys think about this? Are you looking forward to the Dynamic Eagle player campaign update this year? Oh, you know it. I'm trying to get into more dynamic player stuff and also into doing more stuff on servers. I got a lot of my friends that also fly DCS with me as well, so. Then after that, we'll have a fun ride home. We'll land this bad boy. And all in good, man. I'll show you guys how to divert there. Okay, we're basically coming back around to the target area. Okay, there's the target area, so let's go ahead and select another target. Okay, and they're all pretty much on the bridge. So, trying to figure out if that's another person there. Okay, that does look like a vehicle there. Okay, let's lock that up. And see, now we have a pipper line. We got a bomb line, guys. All I'm doing is TMS forward or up long, and that'll lock it in. Let me see. Let me go down a little bit. There we go. Alright, now what this is telling me is we have a minute. You can't really see, but it's also giving me some information. We've got about a minute until we get there. There we go. About a minute and 29 seconds. And we just need to fly in our pipper line right now, guys. Let me change my autopilot feature so we don't go into a bank. There we go. Alright. And again, I'm not trying to teach you guys this. I'm just showing you basic maneuvering and usability of the screens. That's why your HOTAS is important. You guys will have to learn the weapon systems, and maybe we'll do more training on it. Okay, so we're pretty much flying our bomb pipper. We're at a nice speed. We're at 8,200 feet. You can see the target is locked in there. We're just waiting for our weapons release. And then we'll go into the autopilot mode and watch it fall. Okay, there's the weapons release coming down. Okay, one away, one away. Pickle, times one. Alright, let's get ready to go into our autopilot. Okay, autopilot's activated. Pull that speed back a little bit. Let's get on our weapon drop. So this is a GBU-12 laser guided bomb. Oh man, and it looks like it's off. Okay, must have been some wind drift, but it was definitely off, so that wasn't good at all. That was not good at all, man. Oh, and look, the truck we were targeting anyway was already blown up. Maybe that's why. Let's pick one that's not blown up. Alright, so now we're going to select just GBU. And actually, we got two missing on this side. Okay, no, we won't. We'll keep this one selected. And let's just turn back around and give this a go again. You're not going to hit them all the time. It's getting masked again. And again, this is the challenge here. And that still looks like, is that the one that's... Okay, does this one look alive? Let's see. That one's definitely dead. We got to get unmasked here, guys. And when that sun is in the HUD, no worries. You can just fly nose down. See what you're doing. That's why you need to get used to these old analogs here. These old steam gauges, if you will. Because that HUD sometimes becomes problematic when you're in the sun. As well as our doggone, you can see that, okay, let's keep searching the road. Is there any more? Okay, there's one right there. And he still looks like he's ready for business. Weapons release.
Pull up, pull up.
Let's pull up, off and over. That was kind of a late one, so if it misses, it's because I wasn't fully stable. Okay, let's get on that autopilot. Yeah, we got him, guys. We definitely got him all the way. There we go. So you can see here he's nice and smoked up, and that, guys, is how you drop a bomb. All right, let's see if we can manually lock somebody up. Okay, if there's anybody else left down there. Okay, guys, so far we've had some pretty good weapons employment, keeping our distance. Okay, the rest of that road looks clear. Get master a little bit. And like I said, guys, it's a grip of multitasking, that's for sure. Because I'm flying the aircraft, trying to keep it stable manually. The speed, our pitch, our orientation in reference to the battlefield. Okay, there's some smoking vehicles there. Okay, there's some more. I think we smoked all these guys. There is nobody over here else. Okay, let's take a look at this town here. Let's get a little bit lower here. Alright, let's come back around. Let's come back around and see if we can actually, see if we're even taking any fire. Let's do a low pass. Like there's been some combat happening down here. Are we taking any fire? We're not taking any fire, so there must not be any more threats down there. I was trying to find some targets we could you know, literally, I think they've already been neutralized. That's our RWR. Let's slow our roll now. We're going to pull the power back. Let speed bleed so we can do a low pass, guys. Okay. I want to keep it right about 200. Let's do a low pass here. And A10 pilots have really said they're trying to do a better job of visual IDing the target instead of using all of the avionics on board. But yeah, we're not taking any fire. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Oh, there, we are taking fire from right there. You guys see that? Okay, so I have a, so now I see the part where I'm taking fire. I'm going to show you guys something awesome now, how we can search and see if we can, oh, oh, whoa, we took some hits. Did you guys see that? We just took some hits. They caught our left MFD, so we definitely were taking some fire. Those guys are crazy, man, but we still have all of our navigational systems in there, so it just got our left MFD. But that's alright, though. We can still use our head-mounted display. No worries. Okay, so our left MFD got shot out. So, I told you guys I was taking a risk doing those low passes. But watch this. They done messed up now. So I'm going to do coolie hat long down. Let's see. Okay, now we have the asterisks on here. Now I can move this, and we're going to use this to use the targeting pod to look and see what we got there. We're going to keep our distance, though, because obviously they had something down there that could that hurt us. All right, you see that little box? I just put a little box down there. All right. China hat long forward. And let's see if we can get our targeting pod up here. China hat long forward. There we go. Let's see. It's not giving me what I want. Alright, let's make sure we stay far enough away. Let's go back. Let's check on our fuel. 5,800 pounds of fuel. We're good there. So guys, man, these guys took out one of our... how dare these guys? Let's go out and see if we can see. Let's go out and see if we can see. Yeah, it looks like we got tagged on the side there. Yeah, there's where we got shot. Obviously, it got into our systems there. It's alright. So I wonder if my targeting pod has been compromised as well. But guys, guess what? We got guns. Okay, it looks like our targeting pod is going to work. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Remember that wonderful cluster bomb that we had? We're about to wipe everything out down there. So now, the problem is... I don't think we're going to be able to get to our DSMS on this side. DSMS goes on the other side, so I don't even think we're going to be able to select our bombs. So we'll go guns, guys. Okay, we got our CBU 97 selected. I wasn't able to change the profile, but hey, we can do CCRP bomb in there. All right. Okay, let's turn back around and see if we can get us a little CCIP bomb going on there. Going to get a little bit of altitude here. See, manual, CBU. We're going to just drop a bomb down there on these folks. Okay, we got 4 miles. Let's see if we get our bomb pipper. Okay, we do. Okay, guys, this is some dirty, down and dirty bombing here.
Pull up, pull up.
All right, bombs away. All right, we just did a DCIP bombing run there. Let's get the autopilot on and see what we can see. Okay, there's the bomblets. I don't know how successful we're going to be with their dismounts, but okay, we got them. Infantry destroyed. Bye, y'all. Teach you to shoot us up. Teach you to shoot at us, man. All right. Autopilot is off. And guys, after this, we're just going to head back in. It is time. The time has come. Hope you guys have enjoyed this A10 tutorial, man. I think we're going to just put some guns on there as well. Just doing a crazy climb here. We're gonna do something pretty crazy here, man. Guys, ready for this? And invert, here we go. Idle. Alright, may have not tagged anybody, but it sure felt good. Alright guys, let's bring her on home. Let's bring her on back to the barn. Alright, we got 12 miles till it's time to go home. Let me show you guys how to divert here. You're going to come up here, function, and you're going to select nav. Oops, got to make sure it's on the CDU screen first there. We're going to go to divert. And Mount Pleasant is where we, let's see, Mount Pleasant, runway 28, so western runway, so we'll be able to see it here in a minute in our hat. So we're going to be landing to the west, and we're out now to the south. And there it is, guys. That's why the helmet, it's over there in the yellow. So I think we're going to land the same way we took off, but we have to be also cognizant of the other threat areas. See, elevation is 243. So guys, that's it, man. We're going to bring this bad boy back in. and be done with the A10 tutorial. This tutorial will also show you don't be doing no low overpasses when you're not too sure about that enemy threat down there. Okay, there's the base over there. Let's see, ILS 111.9. Runway 28 should be about 280 degrees. And the ILS is 111.9. Alright, and the power is on to the ILS. Let's come down here and hit ILS now. Okay, power's on. Alright, guys. You guys can now see that ILS is crack-a-lacking, so there's runway 28. We're going to start turning there in a second. Alright guys, let's prepare for landing. Get our landing lights on. Start slowing this bad boy down. You can see that ILS moving in. So we shot over a little bit. Those brakes in. There's the ILS there. So if we were to use it, gear down, flaps down. Slow that speed down again. Alright, we still got a little bit of weight on us, so we'll get that all squared away, pitch up a little bit, and right there on the left, that little circle just means we're slightly fast. This aircraft does land with a little bit of flaps, not that much. Okay, we're basically perfectly on speed by that thing being circular there. And let's pitch up. Make sure our weapons are safe. Gun pack is off. There we go.
Altitude, altitude.
Okay, we're on speed, AOA. Perfect. Three red, or 2 white, 2 red. What we want, man. Alright, we are down. Speed brakes deployed. Nice long runway. Little off center line, but that's okay. Speed is bleeding. Tap those brakes a little bit. Okay, steering is on. And guys, we are down. We are down, man. Let's back taxi. Okay, speed brakes are down. Now we got to go explain to the man why we damaged his aircraft. Alright guys, so while we're back taxiing, let's go ahead and get the APU on. Okay, APU is coming up. Let's unarm the seat there. We don't need that armed anymore. We don't want to hurt ourselves. Okay, APU is confirmed at 100%. APU generator is activated. So guys, we had a little bit of a misfortune here. We got shot. Turn all that off. Now we can come down and turn our Iggy. We can get all this stuff off now. Alright, let's go ahead and shut down one engine. And I like where we're at. Let's go ahead and shut down the next engine. Alright, so we did that. So we still had some APU power. Obviously, our generators are now disconnected, even though their auto feature APU power is connected. Now we can definitely turn these bad boys off. Never showed you guys that, but there was really no threat to show you guys that. Let's go ahead and get our awesome radios off, guys, and just letting those engines cool down just a little bit. Let's go outside and see what. Oh, we got to get our landing light off. There we go. Light is off here. And guys, we made it back. I hope you guys had a great time learning the A10C2. Let's get back on definitely and finish shutting everything else down. Okay, let's turn our steering off. Bada bing, bada boom. Canopy is unlocked and confirmed. No problem there. All stereos are off, or radios are off. We can get our stabilators off here. And let's make sure our flaps are back to the up position. Anti-skid can come off. Heat, of course, could have came off once we landed, but it's off now. And we got to get those lights turned down. We'll get our HMD off, our helmet off. Alright guys, and that concludes today's tutorial. Let's shut that down, and eventually let's go ahead and go APU power off. APU off. And inverter off. And battery off. And we are in a fully shut down status. There we go. Let's go ahead and observe that damage again. You can see a couple bullet holes on the side there. Good thing we were protected, man. Yeah, you can see a couple bullet holes there. But guys, we got her back in for show, for show. Appreciate you guys running along. Hope you learned something here. Shadow Dark, this one was for you, man. I appreciate streaming you guys. Tomorrow should be an X-Plane stream. We'll see what we're flying. Probably going to be an Airbus of some sort. But other than that, guys, man, you guys have always been awesome being on board here. And I hope that you guys have an excellent rest of your evening here. And of course, big up capital G, capital O, capital D if I didn't say so. Thank you for waking me up. My baby was on board. Thank you. Jerry Porterfield checked in. Sawyer's Aviation. Phoenix J. Rock City was in the house. Coffee of Shorts. And of course, my boy Shadow Dark checked in. Along with my G, Andy Black, who was all the way in the house, man. And if you guys were in the background, just chilling in the background, big up to you. Hope you guys all have a safe and wonderful, again, rest of your evening on into tomorrow. Hopefully you see your boy back much earlier tomorrow, probably back in X-Plane. Until then, guys, I'm your boy, 100. See y'all.
you.